Yeah.
Hey, everyone, and
Yes, you can.
welcome in to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Tim Sohn. I can't say I'm hanging out in the woods here, but I'm here in Pennsylvania with Sohn Social Media Solutions, and I'm so excited to be here. Jim Fuse, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Sitting here in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. Went for a run this morning as I'm preparing myself mentally and physically to run the Marine Corps Marathon October 30th. So I got to run 10 miles Friday. I ran 9 miles last Friday. So it's I'm getting there. So this holistic stuff
That's
we're going to talk
amazing.
about today could be very helpful for me.
Excuse me
Definitely.
for 1 second. Jacob, I'm on the video. Sure. So sorry. Real life.
It's the beauty of
Hello.
live streaming.
I know.
All good. It's all good. So, Jim, who do we have here today?
I don't know, Tim. Why don't you tell me? But I know it's Krista.
Yes.
Am I going to say this right? Samimi?
You said it right.
My name gets butchered a lot, so at least that's my excuse sometimes.
Yes.
All
Welcome, Krista. We're
Thank
so excited to
you.
have you here today. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, that intro just energized me. I was like dancing. I was like, I need to do one of those for my live. Anyways,
we know a guy. We know a guy, Chris Stone, who is my co-host on Dealcasters. Made that intro video. Is amazing. Video editor, podcast editor, live streamer, virtual event producer, and he's back. He's back from his vacation. He went to Europe. I can't even just say like one place. He was like European vacation, so he's back. And so yeah, he's definitely
good to
someone
know.
I can do that.
Yeah. So hey, welcome. I mean, thanks so much for having me on your show. My name is Krista Samimi, and I am over here in Northern California, just outside of Sacramento. I am a wife, a mom. I'm actually an older mom. I think that the correct term is advanced maternal age is what they called me when I had Jacob at 42. Anyways, I have a 5-year-old, and I love all things yoga, specifically hot yoga. I'm really obsessed with mental wellness and personal growth, and just being the best you can, taking your skills and abilities and everything to the next level via mental wellness. So really excited to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. I've heard of hot yoga. I think that sounds better than goat yoga. But
goat yoga, what's that?
That's where like goats get on people's backs, I think, while they're doing yoga. I've definitely seen some videos of it. But yeah, so there is goat yoga as well. But I've heard of hot yoga. I guess the what do you call it, Tim? I guess you're sweating like crazy while you're doing yoga. Is that the idea, Krista?
Yeah, it's a heated room, like 90, 95 degrees for 90 minutes. And there's 26 postures, and you do each posture twice. And I leave there and I'm just, looks like I jumped in a swimming pool, just completely soaking wet with sweat. But it feels amazing when it's done. It is very difficult to do, but it pushes, the limits, and you feel really great when you're done.
Wow. Tim, have you tried yoga yet?
I haven't tried it yet. I haven't, but maybe I should. And when you said goat yoga, Jim, don't make me break out Snap Camera. That I don't have it set up today, but don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. But guys, today we're going to be talking about optimizing mental health and wellness, and I love that term mental wellness, because so often we hear about mental health and mental illness, but mental wellness, I love how that's framed. So Jim, do you want to take question number 1 for Krista?
Yeah, Krista, what exactly do we mean by mental wellness?
Yeah. I mean, I can jump into mental wellness, but I thought maybe I would also just kind of like share a little bit of my journey on how I came to learn about mental wellness versus like this whole mental health and illness, because it's not. So, like, mental wellness is not a diagnosis or mental health. Mental wellness is something that we all have, and it's made up of like mental clarity, mental focus, like how you stay on task, how well your brain is working. It also, mental wellness is like your confidence, it's your pressure management, how well you handle stress. Like, all of those things make up mental wellness. And just a little backstory on like how I came to this sort of this
Yeah.
being my life's work is, I was on my own mental health journey for like 20 years. And I grew up with my dad, who had a lot of depression and anxiety, and mental health, like, conversations were always kind of like swept under the rug. Like, my dad, like, would be, one day be completely fine, taking us snow skiing, doing all these fun things. And then like the next couple of days, he would be like in his room crying. And like, I was like, what is going on? Also, he tried to take his life a couple of times, and my parents, like, we didn't ever talk about it. Like, it was really, really like uncomfortable growing up. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And my dad, who was very successful, had his own business and he was an engineer, and it just never made that much sense. And then so that part, just kind of like growing up, that's where that came from. And then I started to have my own mental health struggles in like the early 2001. And I was working in corporate for like 17 years doing the thing. And I was literally one of those people that like had the big smile on my face, but like behind the smile, I was like falling to pieces. I always called it, it's not a good mantra, but this was my mantra back then, was fake it till you make it. I was actually pharmaceutical sales rep for a big pharma company. So I was making these sales calls, going to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And I would literally be driving somewhere and tears would be coming down my eyes and I'd feel like crap. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? But I would just pull myself up on my bootstraps, put on a smiley face, and fake it till I make it. And like, that served me for a while until it didn't. And after about 10 years of working for the pharmaceutical company, in 2009, it just, like, the universe gave me a wake-up call. I literally fell to pieces. I was traveling coast to coast, and I have a condition that's affected by sleep. And so be doing all these, going to all these conferences, flying here, flying there. I wasn't taking good care of myself. I didn't have the self-awareness back then to like recognize things when they were happening. And I literally crashed and burned and ended up in, this is weird to say, I don't want to weird anyone out, but I was like, crash and burn, end up in a psych hospital because I was so bad. My mental health had just been in shambles. And that was like a rude awakening because I was freaking locked up in a psych hospital for like 72 days, the whole summer of 2009. And my identity was in my corporate job and in being this person, doing success in corporate. But my whole life, like, it didn't matter that I had all this success and I had my own house and all of the things. Like, I did not have my mental health and I was a mess. And so that was just kind of the universe telling me, like, don't do that anymore. So that happened. I was, on the track to, like, I was doing like advocacy work for mental health. I wanted to like share my story and help other people. And I've just been on this whole journey. Finally met my husband in 2012, and he just accepted me how I was. I was very stigmatized because I have a diagnosis that people kind of trip out about and like, oh, some weirdo, right? So my technical diagnosis is bipolar, but whatever. So like I said, long story short, that's kind of this whole journey that I had been on. And then in 2019 is when I started to discover this whole world of mental wellness and what it means to like really, really take care of yourself in a way that is like expands your life and not just living off pharmaceuticals, but like a holistic approach. And it was that moment in 2019 where my son was like, that's all I had been praying for. I couldn't wait to have a baby. And I didn't have him till 42. But like, I was like, when he was 1.5, 2 years old, I started to have anxiety and depression again. And I'm like, how could this be happening? Like, shouldn't I be happy? Like my son is here and this is what I've been dreaming about. Why am I feeling sad? Why am I having these thoughts that I'm like not a good mom and just all of these things? And I knew if I went to my psychiatrist and I told him like I'm having these feelings and I don't feel good and I have depression, he would just write me another prescription. And I did not want to do that. So the universe always provides what we need at just the perfect time, right? So I was scrolling of all places on social media, and my good friend Sarah was talking about this science of the gut-brain axis and optimizing your mental wellness by taking care of your gut health and taking targeted nutrition to optimize, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, the gut-brain axis. But I just wanted to give you a little backstory of where this all came from, because some people don't really care about like what you know until they know, like, why do you know that? So I don't know if that was helpful or not, but that's kind of like the backstory.
Wow.
Oh,
That's something else.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely provides perspective as we go forward in talking about mental wellness and the gut-brain axis. And I'm just curious. I'm curious, Krista, what I know you wanted to help people by sharing your story, but can you give us any more perspective in terms of, was there anything else in terms of why you decided to share your story? Like I decided to share my story a year ago in terms of my cancer journey, but is there anything more in terms of why you decided to be so open about your story?
Yeah. Well, a couple different things. Like, just like I was mentioning about growing up in my household, mental health was not talked about. I just internalized a lot of things. And I saw my dad suffering so, so much. And like pharmaceuticals weren't working for him. And he actually, in 2018, he did take his life. And I just, I always think of like the what ifs, like what if I had more conversations with him? What if I knew about these, holistic programs and supplements when he was alive? And, all of those what ifs around that. And then for just like my own healing, like I have felt so alone for so many years and I felt like different and awkward and all of the things. And when I partnered with this company, this mental wellness company, I started to share my journey a little bit at a time. And I started to find people that were like me and had similar experiences. And this community just kind of formed. And I started to notice like I was healing myself. I was like no longer ashamed. Um, I just felt more connected to people. And it just like the more I shared, I was like, oh my God, people are like relating to this. Like I'm not the only one. So just from that perspective, like sharing my story has been really healing for others, but it's been healing for myself because I felt so alone. And especially when I was working in corporate, I would just put my suit on and hide behind my smile. And I just didn't want to live like that anymore. I wanted to like be real with people and be open with people and not live like this double life. And I have a sister-in-law who I lost as well. And so that's really why I share.
I appreciate you for sharing that, Krista. So I'm not sure do we want to go back and talk a little bit more about mental wellness, or do you want to go into the gut-brain axis?
Yeah. Well, just a little bit on the mental wellness. Again, it's like, it's not mental illness. It's not mental health. Mental wellness, again, is something that we all have. And it's something that we can elevate and take to the next level and work on through a variety of different channels. Because when we are mentally well, we are, really efficient in what we're doing. We have a lot of focus and clarity, and we're staying on task. We're very aware of like pressure management, meaning like, what are the pressures that are like in my life and how can I manage them so I can show up and be the best mom or the best parent, sister, brother, friend. And I'm just a firm believer, like the more that we work on ourselves, and especially like as cheesy as it sounds, but like self-love, like the company I'm partnered with actually means love in Latin. And so we are all about
Wow.
loving yourself first so that you can love others. And I like after this leadership retreat I just went on, I could really feel that. Like there was so much love poured into us that I came back and I was like I saw so much more love in my husband and my son, and it was just so powerful, when we really just take care of ourselves, how that radiates out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What do you think about that, Jim?
No, I think it's important. I think making the distinction between mental health and mental wellness, right? Because even when you think about physical wellness, it's like, what are the actions you're taking to maintain your health is the wellness journey, right? So, are you eating the right foods? Are you exercising? Are you taking time to relax, right? Just unplug. I think going back to what Krista said earlier, right? She was so wrapped up in her corporate life that had become her identity. She had forgotten about those things that made her herself, and that, caused the stress. So I think that's definitely something important. And I think, it's, and even sometimes we talk about the quote unquote rat race is that all people do is work, so many hours a day. And really, what's the end goal? What are you going to do when you stop working? And I mean, some people lose their identity. Uh, I know there's been studies made, because I retired at 20 years from the Marines, that the difference in life expectancy between 20-year service members versus 30 is significantly different, and that the ones that go out at 20 seem to go along with the rest of society, where the ones that like do 30 plus are sometimes dead within 5 years, right? Because that was their identity. They aren't prepared mentally for what's next. And I think there's a lot more to that than we sometimes talk about, because it's like one of those, I think the whole aspect of talking about mental health, mental wellness has become more accepted, where before I think it was almost taboo.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people are talking and being open about their mental health now. It's becoming more prevalent, but even just 5 years ago, it was still pretty hush hush. Um, but it's really important. We have to check in on people, especially with this pandemic and people being so isolated. It's like really intensified um, people, just being isolated and not having someone to talk to. But community is so important. And it like, I even though I'm, distributor for these supplements and I take them and stuff, it's a holistic approach. It's like I have this like-minded community that is constantly cheering me on, calling me out when I'm playing small. And, then yoga, meditation, journaling, like all of these things are like a holistic approach to mental wellness. And it's really not like one thing. There's not like a magic bullet to have like great mental wellness, but I just love learning and growing and being in community with people that are like-minded.
Definitely. And we're here, everyone. We're here on the Tim and Jim Show with Krista Samimi. I just want to go to the comments briefly. Thank you
Yeah.
all who are tuning in, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Catherine Lang says, love that you're sharing this wellness, balance, your uniqueness. The more we focus on these, less we need repairing. Stefan Kaplan, thanks for being here, Stefan. He says, being transparent about our journey is like taking a giant weight off of our backs. I am so sorry about your dad's struggles. May he always rest in peace. You are so strong and wonderful, Krista.
Thank you.
Shannon, thanks for being here, Shannon. She says, the more we know about mental health, the best we can help each other. And guys, let us know if you have any questions for Krista as we continue the conversation here. We appreciate you all.
I do see one from Catherine. I don't know if you see that, Tim. She wanted to know, what does playing small mean exactly? That's a good question.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Playing small to me is just like not giving it your all, not showing up. Like if you see something, you see a family member or a friend and you're just like, no, they're fine. Like they probably have someone to talk to, but just being your true authentic self and doing all you can to grow and learn and not be stuck. You know what I mean? Like if there's something that you see in life and you want to grow, it's just living full out and living your full potential. Not as, to me, is what not playing small looks like.
So Jim, could you take the next question for Krista?
Yes, I can. What is the gut-brain axis and why should you care about it?
Yes, this is like my favorite thing to talk about because it is what has like healed my mental wellness at like, it's like root cause stuff. So your gut brain axis, we'll start with your gut. So your gut has all this bacteria in it. The gut, by the way, is your esophagus all the way down to your stomach, your intestines, your colon. And there's all these different bacteria in there, and they're constantly sending signals to the brain via what's called the axis. And the axis is your vagus nerve. So if you can imagine, there's all kinds of signals going from your gut to your brain. And get this, pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know this, but your gut has this bacteria that actually produces serotonin and dopamine. Those are our feel-good neurotransmitters. And then they travel via the axis to the brain. Antidepressants just work on the brain, but when you optimize your gut brain axis and you take care of your gut health with probiotics, good nutrition, eliminating reducing stress, the gut is producing those feel-good neurotransmitters. So if it's off balance, your gut can be off balance and unhealthy because of foods that we eat. If we have a lot of stress in our life and cortisol is going everywhere, that's going to affect the gut. And what's going to happen is what it looks like if your gut is off balance is you're going to feel low energy. You might feel pain in your body because inflammation can happen via the gut. You could feel just a little off, like you don't feel yourself. You don't necessarily have to have depression or anxiety, but everything really starts in the gut. In fact, Hippocrates said all disease starts in the gut. So it was really fascinating to me when I was learning about the gut brain axis because, I was taking a medication for my bipolar, but I still had anxiety and depression. And when I addressed my gut brain axis with targeted nutritional supplements, it came into balance. And it was just really, really powerful. It happened pretty quickly. I went from on the couch, unmotivated, barely able to take care of my 2-year-old son, low energy. I had thoughts that he would be better off without me. And I started this regimen and I started, changing my nutrition. I will say I didn't change. It took me a long time to change my nutrition because let's be real, when you're feeling depressed and anxious, you're not like reaching for a salad. I was reaching for the Doritos or the whatever, right? But as I started to feel better and my joy came back and I was like, the dark, depressed cloud started to lift, then I started to make better choices. I started to exercise again. I started to put more nutritious things into my system. And so this whole gut brain axis is really, for a lot of people, the missing link in their mental health or into their mental wellness. And when you really focus on that and optimizing the gut brain axis, it's incredible the results and what happens. Energy goes up, you start sleeping better. You have more clarity, because I remember I had a lot of brain fog from the medication I was taking. And so optimizing my gut brain axis, I had more mental clarity. I could think more clearly and I could talk to someone even before my morning cup of coffee. So yeah, that's about the gut brain axis a little bit.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And Michael has a question. He says, so many people struggling with mental health don't know where to start. What do you suggest to people that feel like they have tried everything, asking for a friend?
Yeah, honestly, I just talked to a lady Monday and she told me the exact same thing. I eat healthy, I exercise, I do all of the things. She had tried medications in the past. And I will say for a lot of people, this whole, addressing the gut brain axis tends, I mean, not everybody, right? Everybody's different, but it tends to be the missing link for so many people. And we all hear about probiotics and you should take a probiotic and all of the things. But I will say this, the probiotics that I started on are actually designed for mental wellness. And what does that mean? So there's certain strains of bacteria. Like if you just go to Target or Walmart and grab yourself a probiotic off the shelf, you got to look and see in what strains of bacteria is it going to help. So the ones that I take, and this has kind of been the missing link because they truly make you feel different. Like I've taken a probiotic from Target and I don't even recognize anything. But the ones that I take are that one of the strains works on cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So it modulates the cortisol, which means we have a higher tolerance for stress. So like when I started, like my 2-year-old just doing normal 2-year-old things was stressing me out. He's throwing things, doing things, and I was stressed. When I about 2-3 weeks in, I was like, oh, these things don't really bother me or trigger me anymore. So that's one part of the strain. And then another strain works like on anxiety and mood. So it helps you have like a calm mood. So for those people that have tried all the things, that is very common. People that I work with is like the gut brain axis truly has been the missing link. It's like root cause solutions. Does that answer the question, Michael?
Yeah, let us know, Michael. Let us know. And Krista, you were just talking about the gut-brain axis, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to say in terms of how can you optimize your gut-brain axis for optimal mental wellness, or did you already cover that?
Yeah, we pretty much did. Like, obviously, targeted nutrition via these supplements. Reducing like stress, and if there's like toxic people in your life too, you got to like really be mindful of who's in your circle, right? Because those people could be like sucking your energy, and that's going to affect your mental wellness. And so you got to be really aware of who you're spending time with and where you're putting your energy, because that will drain you. Meditation, I honestly only do I do like 11-minute meditation 5 days a week, working on more, but meditation is so good for us to quiet our mind and just sit. I heard a quote one time. There's 2 ways to do meditation. I used to get caught up in it, like, how do you do it? I'm doing it wrong. And then someone once told me, meditation, there's 2 types, the one you do and the one you don't do. So don't overcomplicate it. Like you can literally like stop right after this live, close your eyes, 5 minutes, breathe, and call it a day. Like, don't overcomplicate it, but it's so good when you get into a regular routine and really help your mental wellness. I also find journaling really helps, and as a way to like manage our thoughts, because our thoughts, and I did a live on this yesterday if you want to watch it, but like our thoughts can dramatically impact our mental wellness. So we have to be really mindful of what we are thinking and if those thoughts are serving us or not serving us, because our thoughts will lead to our feelings, and feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. So sometimes we're looking, oh, I want to get this result. I'm an entrepreneur, I have these goals and I want this result, but you got to back up and look at your thoughts around that, right? So thoughts have a huge impact on mental wellness. And
Definitely.
somebody's asking,
Yeah, Sharon says, does the probiotics you use also help with ADHD? I'm guessing if they help with focus that they do.
yeah, 100%. So we actually have a system that's for the gut brain axis. It's the probiotics for your gut, and then it's a product for your brain called Mentafocus, and it's packed with like pomegranate extracts and phytonutrients, and it's super good for mental clarity. And then it also comes with a product that's for the access. So there's a product that takes care of the communication between the gut and the brain. So it's like 3 products in one, and that's what really good for ADHD. And we have a couple other products that you can add on depending on what you need.
Great. Jim, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. What does holistic mental wellness consist of?
Yes. So when we're just talking holistic, we're just talking about a combination of different avenues to take care of your mental wellness. So again, it's not just one magic bullet, like one thing that you can do for mental wellness. It's, that whole kind of program of taking nutritional supplements, of doing meditation, journaling, exercising, doing some breathing. So it's just kind of like that culmination of different things to do for mental wellness.
Excellent.
And do you find too that part of this is, you kind of went back, I want to kind of go back to something you talked about with diet. I think, because that's something that that I've definitely changed. And I think it's important, like you said, like this doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you even maybe go backwards a little bit. But one of the things that I've really worked hard to cut out of my, if you want to say daily life, is processed food. Because I think there's a lot in there that really has a negative impact on us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I always say food is medicine. And I'll be the first to tell you that like I had a bag of potato chips yesterday, but the more you can focus on putting like whole foods into your body, fresh fruits and vegetables. I kind of follow like a Mediterranean diet, chicken, fish, that kind of thing, and stay away from anything in a package because those things really aren't good for our gut health. But I don't try to get too like wrapped around the axle of like saying, oh, this is bad food, this is good food. I try to just think of like, okay, before I put it in my mouth, is this nourishing my body and mind? Because I do know for me, like pasta is not that unhealthy, but like when I put pasta into my body, especially at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, like cannot keep my eyes open. So it's really just about finding what works for you. If pasta doesn't bother you, then eat it, right? But it's just like being mindful. Is this serving me? Is this going to help my mind? Is this going to help my physical body? And if it does, then just eat it. I don't get too like wrapped around like that, but kind of stay away from the processed food for sure though.
So Krista, how can people get involved in the mental wellness movement?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this movement is all about just, coming on board, I can, share more about like what we're doing at Amare, but like we are literally the mental wellness company. We have a mission of getting Amare and getting these products and programs into 1 million homes in the next 5 years. We're still really small. We have maybe like 40,000, 50 members. And so we have like a big vision, and we want to become like a household name where people just know about the gut brain access and they know about this targeted nutrition and these supplements. And if you do want to get involved, just for sure, and you want more information, like just send me a message on LinkedIn. You want to say hi? Okay. Jacob's in here. But yeah, I have so many incredible leaders that I work with. A lot of them are on this platform. I'm almost done.
Mommy, can you come here?
No, look, I'm almost done. Say hi to Tim and Jim.
Please.
No?
Please.
Okay, we better wrap up soon. So yeah, that you guys can just like reach out to my LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook, Krista R. Samimi. And if you have any questions about the products, I'd be happy to have a consult and provide a product recommendation. No, you have to be patient. Okay, no, you have to look. He's been very patient for the last 35 minutes. Okay, I'm almost done.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Krista. You have provided such great information for us.
Hold this. Okay, thank
Jim,
you. So sorry.
no,
Realize-
it's all good. I have kids as well. Jim, I know you have
Okay.
older kids as well, so you understand too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Before the internet.
There you go.
right.
Before the internet. Anything else you want to say, Jim, before we go?
No, I think this has been a very important discussion, and appreciate everything you've shared, Krista. And so, yeah, definitely, if folks have questions, connect with Krista, and take this stuff seriously. We only get one life, as far as we know right now. So make the best of it, and do what you can to help others. I mean, as a veteran, we talk about how at least 22 veterans a day are committing suicide, and a lot of that has to do with PTSD and mental health challenges as well, because they need that help. So, yeah, thank you, Krista.
Okay. Thank you, Krista. Hi.
Thank
And
you. Jacob, you got to say hi.
No.
You want to be on live video? Oh my gosh.
Hi,
Usually he's
Jacob.
social. I don't know. He's ready to
All
go.
right.
I got to take him to preschool now.
Okay. Thank you, Krista. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Mommy.
You are so